just going to switch cameras on here, and hopefully it'll switch. Just a bit on Teams, I'm afraid, is that it gives me a tiny view of what the camera's looking at. So I'm going to zoom it a little bit, and so hopefully you can see the device here. I've got a book underneath it here, and then it's connected into a touchscreen monitor on here. What I'll actually do, I don't normally start it this way around, but I'll turn it off.
ReadEasy is turning off. Goodbye.
Could you hear that okay?
Yeah.
ReadEasy is turning off. Goodbye. Right. So I'll spin it
Do we
round.
need a touchscreen monitor then?
No, you don't. It's just if you have one, you get some extra features with it.
Okay.
So the camera on here comes out, but I'll just show you what it's like when it's packed down. So the whole unit is like this. The feature pack magnetizes into here as well, so you don't have to use this, but it adds a lot of extra functionality. So it all just goes into one bit with a handle on it. So it's easy to carry and move around if you need to. And then to set it up, just take the keypad out the back. The camera has a little hole on the back here, so you can put your thumb on it to easily sort of slide it out. And then on the top of the unit, this is the only one that actually has two positions. So you've got an A4 position for the camera and an A3 at the front. So it's a high resolution camera at 12 megapixels, but even at 12 megapixels, you get better accuracy. If you're only capturing an A4 document, if I slide the camera in, you'll see it goes down lower. So it's using the same camera resolution over a smaller area. Because if you lift it up and put it into the A3 one, it holds it higher up, which then means it can actually see a full sort of tabloid size newspaper page. So it's the only one in the world that can capture a whole page sheet of a newspaper if you need it to, or just a larger format document. I'll pop it in the A4 one just for now to get going with. It's easy to maneuver. And then on the back, I've got various different connections. So there's two USB ports. One of those can be used if you've got a touch screen, so you plug in the USB cable from the touch screen to plug it in with. The other one tends to be used for a memory stick. So if you have software updates, which are free on the device, just a standard USB memory stick you can plug in there. The software can be downloaded from our website, put onto the memory stick, you plug it into the device, it detects the software, and you just press the play pause button and it updates itself and gives you audible feedback as it's doing it. So it's really simple to update. And then we've got HDMI connections for a connection to display and also DisplayPort. So that's the most modern type of connection it supports as well for computer monitors on there. That's it on the back. On the side, we've got a really nice chunky volume slider, like a mixing desk kind of slider. So really easy to finely adjust the volume. And then you've got a headphone jack as well. So when you plug the headphones in, the audio to the main speakers are cut off, so you can listen privately to what you're reading. And the only other thing on this side then is a positioning guide. So sorry, it's a bit of an angle on it. So this part folds out, and I'll show you when I capture an A3 size document, it gives a user a physical guide of where to align an A3 size document up against it, because obviously it's designed for users with no sight. So when you close it, you line it up to this edge here for A4, and then if you're capturing A3, you line it up to that edge on there by touch. On the top of the unit, you've got 6 buttons. So bottom right corner, you've got the large rectangular capture button, so that takes a picture. If you press and hold that, it forces the device to capture in single column. So if you need to read across a bank statement, you press and hold that, and it will then force it to read across the columns, so you can then read and understand a bank statement or anything with a table in it. Forwards and backwards a sentence. If you press and hold it, these buttons, they're forwards and backwards a paragraph at a time. And then you've got play pause in the middle. And then you've got faster and slower, the up and down left arrows on the left-hand side of the controls. If you push those together, it changes the reading voice. So it comes with sort of 20 different languages installed on it, all with multiple male and female voices for each language, pretty much. So it's quite good for that if you've got different languages that you need to read. And it will also automatically detect the language of the page, providing that feature is turned on in the settings. The only other thing we've got then is a handle that just slides up, so it's easy to hold with one hand and move around if you need to. And then the on-off button, which is quite important. Just it's recessed again, so it's easy to feel it on there for blind users. And I think that's everything on there. Haven't missed anything? Nothing on the underside except for a serial number. So I'll pop it in. Oh, sorry, the power connection I didn't actually say. So that's the round tactile sort of pip on there for feeling on there. So just plug the power adapters in on that, and I'll plug the other cables in as well. So there's one USB for the touchscreen to control the touchscreen, and then one for the display port I'm using on this. Spin it back round and turn it on. It takes about 20 seconds or so to boot up. It's pretty quick from that. Sorry, the camera's going to go a bit over bright when the monitor's black, and then hopefully when it comes back it should sort itself out. Yeah.
ReadEasy is ready.
Yeah. And then we've got a wireless control pad as well, but I'll run through that in a minute. I'm just going to push a button on here because then that connects the control pad to the device, and then it enables the display as well when you do that.
Wireless control pad connected.
So you'll be able to see what's going on as I'm capturing documents and things with it as well. So first thing I'll do is capture a book on there. So the nice thing with this device, I'm just going to do a single page using the integrated controls to show you what happens with just the basic control set to start with. So a lot of devices, you press capture and they're normally based on a timing system. So on this, the book, obviously, as soon as I let go, it just springs shut because I don't want to break the spine of the book. This has quite an intelligent motion detection algorithm on it though, so it won't actually take a picture until it's still for 2 seconds, and then it will automatically take the picture. So it makes it very difficult to actually capture a blurry image of something moving around underneath it, and it means you don't have to rush, which is nice. So I can push capture now, which I'll do, and then if you can hear the beeping happening, that's it seeing movement. So it won't take a picture until I hold it still for 2 seconds on there. And I'm not going to flatten the pages that much on there. I'll leave them sort of bent up and a bit sort of wonky. And then hopefully you'll see on the screen, once it's captured, I'm moving it now. That's the problem with me holding it up. There we go. It'll straighten the image, recognize it, and just start reading it to us. There we are. So it's done all of that text in that short amount of time, because it is really, really fast at doing that. And I'll just show you with the screen on here. If you can see the lines up on here, that's how much it's straightened each page individually, which is why the text is now perfectly straight across there, which then means it can accurately recognize it. So just the basic unit doesn't have that functionality though, so you just capture and it will start reading. You've got play pause on here, and you've got forwards and backwards, and it's really instant. So this will do a sentence. So as quickly as you press it, it will navigate around. It's important for visually impaired users that are used to technology like this, because if you need to jump and skip an address or get to a different area of the page, it being responsive obviously is important. If any of you have used screen readers before, and if you've got one where you've got a voice that you have to sort of wait for, it does get quite frustrating for users. Not so much of an issue for elderly users, but again for working age people, they're going to want to read and access material quickly, and that really helps on how responsive it is. Faster and slower on here as well, so I'll make the voice a bit faster, and it announces faster.
Faster.
I can start it reading.
Mrs. Berry didn't appear to expect a response. She was sipping from her drink. Slower. Drink. Her attention focused on something beyond Elodie's shoulder.
I just pause it for a second. If I change the voice on here, so I'll push both faster and slower together.
Moira.
So we've got an Irish accent voice called Moira.
Shoulder. And so Elodie fell to her own musing. She realised that she...
Nathan.
Change it again. American accents. I'll skip over these quickly.
Nicole.
Australian.
Oliver.
Oliver's a
Penelope
new
had
one.
mentioned on the phone that he'd had a meeting with the New York board and that it had all gone very well.
Rishi,
Indian
Well,
accent.
perhaps he was out with his colleagues celebrating the merger. Russell, the merger.
Australian. So
Sally,
I'll just skip
Samantha,
through them. So they're nice range of voices on there.
Serena, Merger, Susan,
Tessa.
Tom.
Bina, Zoe, Alison, Amy. The merger. Elodie was still not entirely sure what it was that Alistair's company did.
I'll leave it on one of the Ivona voices, because that's one of the Amy and Brian are quite popular ones. You've probably heard these voices before. So that's the basic controls on there. The only other thing I can do on here is push and hold a button on here.
Did something to T-O.
What I thought it was paragraph. It's not. So that's paragraph is if you press and hold the play pause button and go forwards and backwards, we'll jump a paragraph. If you want it to spell a word out loud to you, so if you've got a spelling of somebody's name that you're not sure how it is, or if there's a word that the voice engine doesn't pronounce properly, which does happen obviously on text-to-speech systems, you can make it spell the word by navigating to the word, then pressing and holding forwards or backwards so it navigates to it. I'll get to a longer word. It'll jump forward.
With acquisition.
And then release it.
C-Q.
And it spells it.
I-S-I-T-I-O-N.
It's quite a long word, and then full stop at the end of it. And then we can do forwards and backwards a paragraph
Makers, 93.
by jumping with a play pause and forwards and backwards on here.
Life had had the power to frighten them.
And then it'll start reading to you on there. So that's everything on the main unit on that. Any questions so far? Shall I move on to the keypad? 15 minutes left, I think.
No questions.
Okay, thanks guys. So the control pad then opens up a lot of extra controls for the device. So the basic 6 buttons are really, really simple and straightforward for users. But this actually comes with a simplifier as well. So with the simplifier on, the main things it gives you is multiple capture. So we'll do that in a minute. That's fantastic for books, or if you've got like a 10-page document you need to capture and read and save and export. The multi-page capture is really useful for that. The middle buttons are the same. So you've got play, pause, forwards and backwards a sentence, exactly the same as before. But you've got dedicated forwards and backwards a paragraph buttons on here. And you also have a word dial. So this is a bit like a fast forward control on a tape deck sort of thing, where it makes the voices speak quickly. Every time you rotate it and it clicks, it goes forward a word.
Because he knew how.
But you can do it quickly and jump through the document that way, and then just jump back word by word or forwards word by word. So it gives you really fine-grained control over the navigation of the document. I'll do multiple page navigation in a minute as well. And then the only other button on the keypad on here is the cancel one in the bottom left. So that's if you've hit capture and you didn't mean to, or you're in the middle of a multiple page document and you need to stop it capturing, you can press the cancel button. Or if you're in the menu and you want to come back out to the main reading area, then you just press the cancel button in the bottom right and it brings you back to the main reading area. So if I just do a multiple page capture quickly, which is where this is useful as well. So I'll use the Append button on here. If I just tap it once, it'll just join one page to the device. So it just adds an extra page to my existing document. If I press and hold it, it will start multi-capture. So I'll do that.
Multi-page capture started. Adding page 2.
Adding page 2 to the document.
Turn page.
And the nice thing with this is, it's now just told me to turn the page. But if I just sit here and don't turn the page, it won't take another picture. It's actually looking for enough movement to signify a page turn. And when I do that, it plays a page turning noise through the speakers and then starts the motion detection again. So basically all that means is that it makes it really easy to capture a multiple page document without getting blurry pictures for users.
Adding page
So
3.
there we go. As I turn the page, it does that, detects it, hold it still.
Turn page. Adding page 4. Turn page.
So you can very quickly capture entire books with this. If you're an advanced user, you can actually do it even
Adding
faster.
page 5.
So I'll show us, move the camera under there. If I press the append button while it's in the motion detection stage, I can force it to capture even more quickly. So I can hold it like this, hit capture,
Turn page. Adding
turn the
page
page,
6.
hit capture.
Turn page. Adding page 7.
So it's really, really quick once you get the hang of it.
Adding page
And
8.
how to capture an entire book. You can do a whole book like this. Well, it's a lot of pages, but in 25 minutes you do the entire book.
Adding page 10.
And then to cancel it, I just press the cancel button. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong camera there. Cancel button on here.
Multi-page capture complete.
And it's been processing all those pages in the background, but it only takes a second or two to do each page anyway. So I can now press and hold the forwards a paragraph button, and if I hold it, it then becomes next page. And I'll
Page 2. Page 3. 4.
and it speeds up.
5.
So if I want to go to
6,
7,
7.
I just release,
Of 9.
and now it's jumped to page 7. There it is. Then I can start it reading.
118. Kate Morton, alongside her various other businesses, which were
So really, really quick and easy to capture even multiple page documents on things on there with that with the multiple page button on the keypad. That's all the basic controls on that that aren't involved with low vision. So that's all those controls are fully applicable to people with no vision as well as some usable vision. But then if we take the control pad off, we get an additional set of buttons are then available. And most of these, so the yellow ones around here, are designed for low vision users. So if you don't have a touch screen on here, you've got a joystick like on an Xbox or a PlayStation, and then brings up a large cursor on the screen, which is fully customizable. You can change the size and the color of that. And then you've got a zoom dial, so we can zoom in on the document as much as we like. And if I do that, you'll say, I'm not sure how good the image stays on Teams on there, On mine, it's just starting to pixelate on here, even though I'm at high zoom, but the resolution of the camera is really good. But what we can do with the button next to it on here is put it into what's called overlay view. So if I just press that, it then replaces the image of the word there with the recognized text as a font. So it's perfectly clear no matter what zoom level you go to, because it redraws it instantly at that. So for a user that's got tables or diagrams and they have usable vision, you can preserve the formatting of the page because it's exactly as it is originally on there, but you can put it into your chosen color combination.
Black
It's very
on
easy
yellow,
to change
white
the
on black.
colors. You just press and hold the middle button and rotate the dial, and then it changes
Black
the color
on yellow,
combinations.
yellow on black.
You can set a custom one in there as well in the menu. If you've got somebody who needs a sort of a weird and wacky color combination, then that's possible to do as well. But all the standard ones are in here.
Blue on yellow on black, green on black
And it
on
just loops
custom,
round.
black on white on black.
I'll leave it on white on black for now. Then there are 6 different ways of seeing the document. So there's the original document on here. There's the overlay. Then if I tap again, it just goes to the next one. So this is column view. So it reformats it across the width of the screen. As you adjust the zoom, it word wraps it for you. And you've got a scroll indicator on the side, so you know how far through the page you are. So I've just tapped the screen there. Some users prefer reading if they've got some usable vision. I don't know if any of you have tried reading with a video magnifier at this kind of text size. It's difficult because you're having to very accurately track the page across the underneath the camera. But with this, you can use the joystick, and as you put it down, it will start it scrolling. The more you push it, the faster it scrolls. So you can find a comfortable scrolling speed, and it's perfectly smooth on this. I'm not sure how well it translates on Teams, but it's 60 frames per second. It's all, the technical thing is it's hardware accelerated, so it's really nice and smooth, like a computer game would be. It's doing that for the text, so it keeps it really, really smooth, which is important for users if they're trying to read it. If you want to stop it, you can just click the joystick down and it just stops exactly where you are. Then we can change it. Some users don't like the column view. They prefer a horizontal view, like a ticker tape. So you can do that, and you can scroll it across on these modes as well. It's exactly the same way as before. The vertical lines going down there, or the horizontal ones as you saw on the other ones, indicate a paragraph break. So a user gets a visual indicator that they're going to a new paragraph on the document they're reading as well. The next one is for users with tunnel vision. We found that some users with RP or tunnel vision conditions actually prefer keeping their eyes centered on the screen and then just reading vertically on it. Without having to minimizing left to right movement effectively. Until they've tried reading with a system like this, you can't really test it because you can't get anything else to format a document to you in this kind of way. So that's a nice feature for users with tunnel vision. And then the last one tends to be for users who need really large magnification, or maybe younger users who are learning how to spell words and things. You can just have one word at a time on there and scroll those one word at a time just by tapping the joystick across as you go. If I press it again, it goes back to the original image. So it just cycles through all the modes. You can turn off the ones if you've got a user that's using a device a lot and they don't ever use any of the modes. You can go into settings and just switch off the modes that you don't use, so they won't cycle through them basically. How long have we got? 7 minutes. Okay. Other advanced features on this are bookmarks. So if you've got a user that's got a document that they need to refer back to and they need to find a particular place within that document, I can hit the bookmarks button and it will add a bookmark at this sentence position.
Bookmark added.
If I push and hold the bookmarks button, I then get a list of my bookmarks.
There are 3 bookmarks in this document. First page.
And it will, if you do a multiple page document, it will automatically give you a first page and last page bookmark. If you've got like a 500 page document and you need to get to the last page, then it's obviously a lot quicker doing this than holding the next page button down. That will still take some time, so it's a quick way of doing that. And then the third one down is the actual bookmark you've made, and it reads the sentence to you as well.
Lily laughed when I told her that Mrs. Mac,
So I push that.
Bookmark 1, Lily.
It opens the document up to that page at the beginning of that sentence. So it's a really nice feature on there for a user if they need that. Other really important button on here, which will be really useful for your members, is maybe one I should have done earlier, the help button. So in the top left-hand corner, there's a triangular turquoisey coloured button. If I press that, it puts it into a key describer mode. So if I push it now. Help.
Press a button to hear its function. Press the same button again to exit help and perform its function.
There we are. So it does exactly that. So I'm not going to do lots of buttons, but I can press the play pause button and it'll tell me what it does. If I want to actually think, oh, that's the button I needed, I can just press it again.
Play pause button. Press to play or pause the reading of your document.
That's the one I want. I can press it down.
Mode.
It exits help, and then it actually does what that button's supposed to do.
Mac had special plans for me.
Okay. Quickly onto document saving, because that might be quite important as well. So the menu button is on the left-hand side here.
Document management. Save document with voice tag.
So there's different ways of saving a document. It's got a built-in microphone just in between the faster and slower buttons and the previous sentence button on the device itself here. Or I can, it will try and detect what the heading of the document would be for the page that I captured. So if I did a document that had a big heading, it would pull that out automatically.
Perhaps he was out with his colleagues celebrating the merger.
This one can't because it's just a sentence that was probably hyphenated on the page. But if I do the voice tag, just to show you quickly.
Document with voice tag, recording voice tag.
Press play pause.
Press the capture button.
Gives you instructions all the way through it as well. So if you're ever
start.
unsure, you can just press the help button again, and it will repeat the message to you. So you know, as long as you know where the help button is, you sort of never lost on there. So I'll press the play pause or the center button down on there. Kate Morton, the clockmaker's daughter. We push it again.
Do you want to accept this name?
Kate Morton, the clockmaker's daughter.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got yes, re-record or cancel, and you can navigate across those.
Cancel.
With up, down, or there's various different ways you can do it. So it's the play, pause, or capture is confirm, and then you've got up, down, and left and right, or twisting dials on here go through the options. So it's not specific. You can just pick anything that sort of makes sense normally on there, and it'll let you do it.
Yeah,
so I'll just hit yes.
Yes. Document saved.
That's now saved the document on the machine's memory. It can store about 40,000 pages worth of books on there. And the limit for one book, I think, is over 10,000 pages. So we haven't had anybody actually create a single book that it doesn't fit in effectively on there. Once we've done that,
document
to load a document, I won't do it. So you just go down to document management with the button on there.
With his open a document.
And you can go to open a document, and then it gives you a list of your documents chronologically as they're saved on the device. And you can just choose the one you need, and it'll open back up. It remembers the position you were in on the page as well. So there's no need to have to find where you were. It saves the sentence position you're in when you shut the machine down and then load the document back up again. Import and export as well. It supports most formats, so you can import inaccessible PDF files, JPEGs, any image file, Microsoft Word documents, text files, and then you can also export as all of those formats, and you can also export as an MP3 file as well to listen to. So if somebody needs to create an audible format of the document, maybe to listen to on their mobile phone or something, then you can do that as well. You can also back the documents up.
Copy a document from a USB stick to this
copy a document to the USB stick, so you can back up the documents that are on here to a memory stick and then load it onto another ReadEasy if you need to on there as well. So it's quite comprehensive what you can do, and obviously delete documents as well.
Document mode.
The only other thing on the main menu that we haven't gone through on here yet is if I push and hold, it's getting very close to 3 o'clock, push and hold the menu button.
Main menu.
It takes you to the main menu rather than the document management. So document management is exactly just what we went through before.
Page management. Page
management gives you more finer grained control over pages. So if you need to delete a page or insert a page or reorder a page from a multiple page document you've captured, then you can do that on page management. Bookmarks is exactly the same as the bookmarks menu we went to before on there.
Recognition profiles.
Recognition profiles is a useful one, and one I'll go into very quickly if I can.
Recognition profiles. So active recognition profile 1.
There are 3 profiles on the device, and you can set those up however you need them. The main reason you change settings on there is if you've got a user that needs to read in different languages, like Chinese or Korean or something like that. Where the language of those languages isn't automatically detected. So all European languages are detected automatically. You just have to enable them. So if I go to Recognition Profile 1,
Recognition Profile 1
we can see all the different languages on here. So I can turn on extra languages if I wanted Dutch and German.
German, Greek, German.
You can have them all turned on. If I put French on as well. But once you get over 5 languages, it might start recognizing sentences in a language that it shouldn't be, because quite a lot of languages are quite similar. Certain words, or it uses a dictionary lookup, and if it's not sure, it might pick the wrong language. So it's advisable to have the fewest number of languages that you can on there for recognition, but it's very easy to go in and change them. So yeah, have those turned on. That's what the idea of recognition profiles is for, basically.
Document mode.
So that means that if I captured this got a multiple. This is an old document we've been using for years, actually, with Formula 1 and some other bits on there. If I capture this, it's got French, English, and German on it on the front page.
Save changes.
It's asking if I want
Would
to save
you
the
like to
changes.
say yes, discard. 5 empty pages, skipped. Capturing.
Mornings only or evenings.
Sorry, Ellis, I'm going to have to shoot, or I'm going to be late for school.
No problem. Don't worry.
Thank you very, very much. It was really interesting. Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Was someone else? Did they have to go at 3 as well?
Yeah, I'm off as well now.
Okay, no problem. Have a lovely Easter.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
No problem. Bye. How long have I got you for, Sarah and Jamie? It's not too much more.
I'm free until 3:30.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm fine as well for the next 10-15 minutes or so that's good.
Great. There's not too much more to go in. I just wanted to do the A3 capture and showing you the positioning on there, but as well. So, but on this automatic one, I'll just do it with the touch screen on here. This is really nice as well. If you do have a touch screen, it's just like using a giant iPad to read, and you can pinch to zoom. It's really responsive, and then you just press on a word, and it'll instantly start reading to you from that word.
Jensen Button's efforts on Thursday after just 21 laps.
And you tap again anywhere, and it just pauses it for you, and then you can find somewhere else. So if I come to the end of the there's the end of the English going into French. So if I have the English on here,
No problem. La defense of destroyed.
He says. I wonder if French is actually enabled fully on this. Which I bet I'll know if it doesn't go to German. I haven't enabled it. Yeah, it's still on English somewhere on that. Let me just check quickly.
Main menu. Exit. Recognition profiles. Recognition profile. What top? Pause at automatic language detection mode. 1 language per page.
Spot my deliberate mistake. It was looking for all those languages, but it was looking for the dominant language on the page. So because the automatic language detection was set to 1 language per page, not multiple. So if I change that.
Start with automatic 1 language, multiple language, automatic language detection mode, multiple languages per page.
And if I come back out of there, I'll just recapture it quickly.
Capturing.
Multi-languages test.
Then we come back down to the end of the English. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
No problem.
Le
There we
défenseur
are.
des
So
droits
it switched to a French
s'interroge
voice
sur
automatically.
l'accessibilité aux cantines scolaires.
Okay. I'm not sure how many of your users you think might need to read different languages, but it's obviously quite a nice feature on there. And if they're sort of being used as a resource, it's probably best just to set them up with pretty much every language you think the user might need and just leave that turned on. It doesn't make that many mistakes in terms of changing to French when it should be English on there. So it's just about making sure that's set up correctly for the users. I'm trying to think what else to show on there. Let's do the A3 then on the newspaper page quickly. So it's the same sort of thing, but lift the camera up.
Camera disconnected.
It tells me it's disconnected. When I plug it into the A3 port, it tells you which port you plugged it into.
Camera connected for A3 capture.
And then the only thing I need to remember to do is fold out this little guide on the side here. It's got a finger hole around there. And then I can line the page up by touch down on the corner on there. And then just capture as normal.
Capturing.
It just takes a little bit longer to process on this because there's a lot more text on the newspaper page, obviously. Same with any OCR system, unfortunately, they're not completely infallible. So we never tell somebody that these are going to be 100% accurate. And I'll probably show you when this finishes, recognizing that there'll be certain bits that it might not get perfectly on there. So I can see on here, actually, it's not recognized the word sport on their white text on a blue background just next to the other bit. It does have a good go at different color text and different color backgrounds. It's got the Mail on Sunday, even the text right in the top right corner, which is small. It's got on this time. So that's quite small text on there as well. It's kind of 5-6 point font, and it's still recognised it even on a newspaper page. You can see on that the huge headline on there though, white text on a multicolour background. All OCR systems unfortunately struggle with that, but the actual, it's managed to get the text within the caption of the picture on there, and then obviously the main text, even the sort of bit down here, it's done quite a good job of around there as well. It's recognised some extra bits in the little marks that you always get on newspapers on there, unfortunately, but it shouldn't interrupt the reading too much, and it's just be part of the line on there. Obviously, you can see it's recognised where the columns are. If I come down on here, it's recognised the big story going across, and then the multiple columns across here as well, and even the multicoloured text on this bit. So it's not done badly. But there are always things. If I have a look on here, this is really small text on here. That's probably 4 or 5. It's going to be right on the it's right on the limit. That would capture it at A4. That's part of the reason we've got it. So if you need to get the this is how the football players have each scored individually in the match, like how well they've done. Then you might have to lower the camera down into A4 position and just try and recapture that area to get it accurately. It has a good go, but it's not 100% on that just because the text is so small. What else have we got? There is a nice table mode on this as well. I was wondering if I've got my table document anywhere. Just remembered. It's not actually released as a feature yet. It's gone. I can describe to you what it does though. So traditional reading machines, if you get to a table, you have the same kind of thing as this, the pressing and holding the button to force it to read across the columns. What the Evolve will now try and do is actually detect that there is a table there, and then it tells you there's a table as you enter the table, because there might be text before it and after it. So it tells you there's a table there, and it then allows you to navigate up and down and left and right across the cells of the table, which is really nice. It will also attempt to detect the headings on the table as well. So if you've got a they're sort of in bold or they're larger font like they often are on the headings of a table, it detects that as a heading row, and then it will read out loud the heading to you and then the information that's in the corresponding cell as you read through the table. A big problem for visually impaired users and tables is that you get the heading row once and then you have to remember what row you're in, or what column you're in, sorry, and what the heading would be, which is almost impossible. You have to be sort of keep jumping back to the beginning of the table to do it. So it makes it much, much easier. And there's also times like when you're reading a bank statement, if you've got a credit and a debit column, you won't know whether it's a credit or a debit because it only tells you that information from the column heading when you visually kind of see the table. So it works really, really nicely for that. And it's a sort of a first big jump forward for visually impaired users being able to access tables in a long time, really. So that's a nice feature that's coming to it very soon as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. On the bookmarks, joystick. Oh, there is a live mode as well. So for that, it's always better on A4. So if I just put the camera into A4.
Camera connected for A4.
On the keypad, there's this the other button I haven't used yet, the yellow button. If I press that,
live mode,
it goes into live mode. If I press and hold it, it goes into handwriting mode. It says. Why has that not gone in there?
Live
this is
mode.
An alpha version of the software I've got with the testing feature. Let me just try it once more.
Writing mode.
No, that one's disabled on here. Okay, that's it.
Live
I'll make a
mode.
note of that. What that does though is gives you a live view that you can then magnify in on, and it's a higher frame rate. So it's nowhere near as good as a desktop video magnifier for writing underneath. But if somebody needs to fill in a bit of a form or sign something, and they've got some usable vision, then it's a useful kind of stopgap just for that. But you wouldn't use it like a traditional video magnifier. But then you don't really have to with this because of what you can do with the document. The other way you can use this mode, in fact, so I just put the multi-language document back underneath it again. We can rotate the page. This is still the live mode. If I push this button on here, it rotates it. And then this is still live. If I put my hand underneath, but you don't have to photograph the page and then have it read out loud. If you've got some usable vision, you just want to use it like a video magnifier, you can just smoothly scroll it across. You can still enhance the colors to whatever color combination you need, so it's nice and clear still. And then if you think, well, no, I'm up to this point of the document, I would actually like it to read to me from this point. What you can do is just, if I go back to the beginning of the line, which is what you can do, I can tap on the screen, or I can use the joystick from here. It will take the picture, and then it will start reading from this word. So if I tap there,
capturing,
it takes the picture. This is a unique feature of the device as well.
Car si l'ouverture d'une cantine n'est pas obligatoire pour les mairies, son accès.
why would you need that? People might ask it. Well, if you're in the live mode and you're just looking at the document, you might not know before you magnify it that that's something that you're interested in. So you don't have to capture the document and listen to it all. You can just put it into live mode.
Live mode.
Magnify around, read some of the text and go, yeah, that is interesting. I do want to read that. And then you just tap on it or click the button on the joystick, and then it will just capture it, start reading to you from that point. So it's about saving time, basically, for visually impaired users and making them more productive. And well, trying to make reading more enjoyable for them as well. I think that is about it. Unless you'd like me to show you how you export a document to memory stick and things, I can plug one in and show it. But it's literally just plug a memory stick in the back. It detects it when you go to export, and then it asks you if you want to save to the memory stick, and you get to choose the PDF or MP3 or text or image file format. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Yeah. So obviously, so I've got a few things. So obviously, I wanted to do this demo, especially with the coordinators, to see if they are happy and it's going to be suitable for our clients. Personally, I'm really impressed. I think this is I think it's going to be brilliant. I'm really impressed with the different accents. Actually, we've got a number of customers with different accents, you know, with their families, and I think that's a really lovely touch. It's really promoting kind of diversity. So, you know, the accents is like, I think that's brilliant, and the languages as well. I especially seeing as I was going to buy the kind of old 11-year-old one.
Yeah.
This seems
That's
really, really good. And we do have, I know of one, and Jamie might be able to add, but I know we've got one member of staff who is actually visually impaired and uses a very old device to read care notes and care plans, etc. So, you know, this is going to be beneficial for staff and any future staff that come on board that are blind and partially sighted, not just the residents. So I think a few bits that I've got is I like the privacy mode as well. Well, not mode, but where you can plug in headphones, because actually if they are reading a bit of a saucy book, or you know, they've got some private letters coming through from GPs, etc., then I think that private bit is really, really good. My question was, are there kind of different cables, because you've connected that up to a touchscreen TV, which is great. I'm gonna see if I can find some budget to get some touchscreen. I know they're not essential, but I think that will be good. Can they be connected up to individuals' iPads or phones?
No, unfortunately, there's no video input, so I'll probably switch the microphone. Actually, hang on a minute, because you won't need to hear the device. Hold on, it's a bit odd me. I can sort of hear myself playing back through the microphone. Hang on. There it is. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah. It's the limitation on iPads, unfortunately. It's like a laptop. There are no video inputs on a laptop device or iPad, so you can't do it that way, unfortunately.
Okay. And what sort of monitor would it have to be? A TV? Is there a spec, or is it like a computer monitor or a TV or
anything on there? It's made to work with pretty much everything. Even the DisplayPort feature actually only got enabled in the last version of the software. It's been on there since it was released 2 years ago, but it's quite difficult to get that type of output working, they said. So it's but it works at any resolution, but we recommend a full HD resolution screen, because you get better sharpness. I mean, you can't buy an old 720 HD TV nowadays. It's impossible. It's just if somebody had a really old television, it would still work, it just wouldn't be quite as sharp on there. But no, we haven't found something it doesn't work with.
Yeah, and obviously they've got the main communal TV, so I'm thinking to just buy a kind of smaller monitor that can be, you know, that can sit with this device somewhere, so they can use that. So that's great. And touchscreen would just be a bonus, wouldn't it?
The monitor we have here is a Dell touchscreen monitor, and the really nice thing about this one is that it's a matte screen, so you don't get any reflections on it. So many touchscreens have glossy kind of glass panels on the front of them. And for visually impaired users, that's not nice. So this is about £50 more than other touchscreens that are 24 inches, but it's a really good panel. The reviews, it is basically the best touchscreen you can buy, whatever you need it for.
And what is it? 24 inch Dell matte screen? Okay.
Yeah, the other thing that's really nice, I've got it on a monitor arm, but the stand that it comes with actually allows you to lower it down like a book in front of you.
Okay.
So, and then it's more natural when you're using the fingers to move around with it. It's really nice. We usually show it like that at exhibitions, and it works really well.
Oh, lovely. Now, I know you're not trying to sell me a Dell TV, but
No, we wouldn't. No. I'll
but
get you the
if
model. No,
could
yeah,
se-
there's no
if you
point.
could send me a link,
Absolutely, yeah.
that would be great. I'd be really interested in that. Okay. So in terms of if it becomes faulty, breaks, warranty, ongoing support, can you tell us a little bit about that? And then my final thing was, I know that this has been recorded, which is great, but as we've gone along, I've started to think, actually, rather than you redoing this every time, is there a way that you could perhaps go away and pre-record a more formal sort of training going through everything for us? Because I'm mindful that I'm talking right now, you know, and my colleagues left halfway through and said their goodbyes, and actually we'd want to use a more kind of structured, formal, you know, video link for the staff and the residents, you know, to showcase that when we're ready. Would that be something that you could do for us?
Absolutely, yeah. So if I'll go back to your first question about the warranty first. So yeah, it's a 2-year warranty on the device, and it's serviced here in the UK by, well, it's actually our sister company that does it. So it's not going to America or Europe or China or anywhere. It's all done here. It's UK designed and manufactured, and the parts are right here to repair it and replace it if they go wrong. The nice thing with them is that they don't have any moving parts as such in them. Even the storage in it is what's called solid state. So that used to be the thing that used to fail on reading machines years ago. The hard drive would wear out, or if the person knocked it on the floor while it was running, it could damage that part of it. I'm not saying that these are designed to be dropped on the floor, but they're pretty robust kind of things nowadays.
Okay.
So it's quick, and we try and turn things around. Well, we do turn them around as quickly as possible. It's normally kind of 2 to 3 working days. It's collected by courier, sort of tried to be fixed that day, and then normally left for 24 hours on testing, and then shipped back the following day by courier. So it's normally 3 days turnaround. So it's not a long time normally for people to have to wait. The other one, in terms of video, we've actually started doing YouTube tutorial videos. We've taken some already. They just haven't been edited yet. So it's been on the to-do list for years for all the products that we do, actually. And this is one of the most popular ones we do. So it's very high up the list, and some of the videos already done. They're kind of being broken down into 1 or 2 minute videos just on each feature. So you'll have a YouTube playlist with each different thing you can do with it, from unpacking it, plugging it in, using a touchscreen, all the steps, capturing a page, magnifying and changing colors, all things like that have been done. It just needs to be edited, which takes some time as well and get uploaded.
Yes, of course. What kind of time are you working towards to get that finished? I mean, we're not moving into the new services until June, but obviously there is you know, there's time before, once we've ordered these, to get all the staff, you know, looking at these. So what kind of timeline are you looking at?
I'm hoping we'll get them done at some point in May. This month is going to be a bit of a squeeze. It's actually my colleague Jonathan, who's on the other end of the room, that's recorded them with my other colleague Jason, he's one of our sales guys. He's very nice in front of the camera. So we've done some recording work with that, but it's down to Jonathan to edit it in amongst training and other things that he's doing. So, but that gives us a deadline. So if we say they have to be done in May, we will prioritise them. I'm going to make a note now. We have been asked by other distributors to say, have you got any videos for this yet as well? So it's yeah, it's nice to have a real push to get them done.
Yeah, perfect. Somebody's just getting a delivery, I think. Okay. And ongoing support. So obviously you're going to do the kind of YouTube videos, you know, the bite-sized ones on each feature, which is going to be great. The staff can revisit that as many times as they want. Am I right in thinking it's okay to kind of call you if any of the staff get stuck with something in particular, or we get lost or whatever?
Absolutely,
but I mean, is there ongoing support available, and is there a time limit on that?
No, we don't charge people for that at all. Obviously, if somebody is phoning up for 2 hours a day for 6 months, then we need to, before it gets to that point, we need to speak to somebody and say, well, look, what can we do to make this so that you don't need to get it? But this type of device it's never happened like this before, but we're more than happy. Jonathan just did an Orcam Read Smart, so Orcam My Eye Pro training on somebody on their phone on WhatsApp, because that was just the easiest thing for them. So even if your members if your member of staff is there with the device, if they've got Skype or WhatsApp or whatever they prefer to use on their mobile, if they can, we have somebody available, we could just jump on it straight away there and solve the problem with them, or just speak to them on the phone. It's a nice thing, because this describes what it's doing to us as well. We can hear it on the phone. It makes it easy to troubleshoot if somebody's not understanding what it's doing.
Perfect. That sounds great. That was all on my list. Jamie. What do you think of it? Have you got any comments or any
No,
questions?
not really. It's an amazing little bit of kit, I think.
Oh.
Yes, and it's quite portable, isn't it? The other one was like one of the old school overhead projectors.
It was. That's the other, and then that brings its own set of problems. Like if you've got a big book or a magazine, then the page that's not on the platen being captured slides off. So you have to try and hold it so that it doesn't slide off. And I'm pleased you sort of at least were open to having a look at something else, because I think it will make a massive difference to the people that use it. Well, we know it does, because people with those old units, they upgrade them all the time. They have been upgrading them for sort of 7-8 years from that unit. So yeah, that's good.
Okay, brilliant. Have you got anything else to add, Jamie?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you think everyone will get on all right with that?
Potentially.
I think there's a lot of kit on there, isn't there? And obviously we're purchasing the feature pack, so I think there's an awful lot of kit on there. You know, and as I'm listening to the demo, it's great, but I probably haven't retained anything, so that's why it's going to be good for the YouTube things. But I think once the residents get the hang of this and practice, I think it's going to be invaluable to them, really.
You're quite right in terms of the number of features. When we demonstrate it to people, we always start by asking them what do they want to be able to do with the machine, and finding out what level of vision they have. Doesn't matter what age they are, that even if we're going to people's workplaces to assess them, that's always what we ask, and ask them to bring along the things that they need to be able to read with it as well. That's really important. The basic thing is tell them where the on-off button is. Make sure that they know that it will beep when it starts, and then they have to wait 20 seconds, because you don't just turn it on. Some people think I've turned it on, it's beeped, it's now ready, and they're pressing capture and it's, oh, it's not doing anything, it's not doing anything. And then once it's started, it tells you it's ready, and then it's just the capture button is the main one. So you just make sure they know where that is, and they can then effectively use the device with the on-off button and the capture button, and that's it. They can just build up from there.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, I think that's it. I'm super impressed, and I will go away and raise a PO number, and we'll get those ordered. And then if you could send me the link to the Dell, and what else was there? Yes, the YouTube demos in May. That would be great.
I'll make a note to send those to you as soon as they're up on the channel. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ellis, thank you very much for your time. It's been great. And yeah, we'll be in touch.
Great. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Sarah. And have a lovely Easter.
Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Great.
Any questions, just send me an email, give me a ring as well. Anytime.
Will do.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice Easter.
Cheers, and you.
Thanks, both. Bye.
Bye.